Have you ever wondered what happens when a young woman suddenly disappears in a tropical paradise? A seemingly perfect life shatters in an instant. When love turns into a nightmare, dark secrets are hidden beneath the sun. The story of Yvonne Baldelli is a thrilling journey of love, betrayal, and the quest for justice. Yvonne Baldelli, a vibrant woman, moved from California to Panama with dreams of starting anew. But what truly happened in her life on that tropical island? Let us explore every detail of this tragic story, from the romantic beginnings to the unimaginable tragedy. Yvonne Baldelli is not just a name. She is a symbol of grand dreams and unfulfilled aspiration. Born and raised in upstate New York, Yvonne always harbored ambitions of success. She was a confident, talented woman, hardworking and well-regarded at Procter & Gamble in a managerial position. However, after being laid off, Yvonne decided it was time for a change. Love entered Yvonne's life when she met Brian Briminger, a former Marine Corps veteran with charm and allure. They began dating in 2009 in Southern California, where their love story began. Brian, with his captivating tales from military service, seemed like the ideal man for Yvonne. Although Michelle Valenzuela, Yvonne's sister, sensed something was off in this relationship, Yvonne remained convinced that Brian was the one for her. When Brian left the military after 7 years of service, the couple made a bold plan to move to Panama and start over. Yvonne was eager about the idea of opening a swimwear and sewing shop. She brought along two sewing machines, hoping to embark on a colorful new life. In her mind, Panama was paradise, a place where every dream could come true. However, no one could foresee that these beautiful dreams would quickly turn into a nightmare. When Yvonne and Brian arrived at Isla Carenero, Panama, they were greeted by the beauty of the beach and the relaxation their new life promised. Initially, everything seemed perfect. They lived in a small house by the beach, enjoying sunny mornings and afternoons filled with the sounds of crashing waves. Yvonne quickly adapted to life there, participating in local activities and building relationships with the locals. But beneath this surface, something was amiss. Yvonne gradually realized that Brian was not only a kind man, but also someone prone to anger. Frequent, heated arguments began to surface. Although they appeared happy on the outside, the reality was fraught with secrets and conflicts. Yvonne frequently sent optimistic emails to her family, describing her wonderful life in Panama. "Everything is great here. Brian is working at a restaurant, and we love our new life." This was the content of the emails her family received. Yet, what Yvonne was truly experiencing was entirely different. Over time, the picture of their perfect life began to fade. Brian started drinking more, further exacerbating the situation. Brian is not just a strong man, he has issues. His drunkenness often leads to fights, a friend of Yvonne stated. Yvonne gradually became a victim of the violence in their relationship, yet she continued to conceal the truth. Signs of abuse began to emerge. Yvonne had bruises on her body, but always tried to hide them. She became self-conscious and hesitant to share what was happening. She tried to keep everything a secret, a friend shared. Despite Yvonne's deep love for Brian, the truth was that their relationship was spiraling into an inescapable nightmare. Everything reached a breaking point in November 2011. Yvonne and Brian had a major argument when she discovered that he had a child with another woman, Kristen Workhoven, which she had never known. When Yvonne found out, she completely broke down. She couldn't accept it, Michelle recalled. On an evening in the last week of November, after a heated argument, Yvonne suddenly disappeared. Brian returned to the US without displaying any concern for her absence. Her family panicked as they had not heard from Yvonne for several days. Why hasn't she contacted us? Why did Brian return without searching for her? These questions echoed in Michelle's mind. Brian claimed that Yvonne had gone to Costa Rica with another man. But could this possibly be true? Michelle couldn't believe it. She felt something was wrong. After checking her emails, she found a message from Brian stating that Yvonne had left him. That was when everything turned terrible. I couldn't understand why Yvonne would leave everything behind without telling anyone, Michelle said. Shortly after, Michelle decided she needed to report Yvonne's disappearance. Michelle relentlessly fought for the truth. She decided to report her sister's disappearance to the police. Upon arriving at the authorities, she requested an investigation into Brian. He was the last person to see Yvonne, and I don't believe he told the truth, she stated. The police recorded her information and began their investigation. As the investigation unfolded, Michelle contacted the FBI for assistance in finding Yvonne. The initial findings revealed that Brian had used Yvonne's email to send false messages to her family. Why would he do that if Yvonne was really alive? Michelle questioned. The first step in the investigation was to check immigration records. The results showed that Yvonne had never left Panama. This increased her family's anxiety. Why hasn't anyone seen her? What happened to Yvonne? Michelle pondered. During the investigation, the FBI discovered that Brian had a child with Kristen Workhoven, which devastated Yvonne. As investigators examined everything related to Brian, a clear picture of their relationship began to emerge. The harsh truth was that Brian was not only a terrible boyfriend, but also a criminal. Yvonne's family decided to travel to Panama to search for her. They met with locals to gather information. Some witnesses recounted seeing Yvonne in a heated argument with Brian. She will never see the light of day again, locals shared. They organized search parties and combed through every nook and cranny. When they arrived at Isla Carenero, where Yvonne and Brian had lived, they met many locals to inquire about information. These individuals informed them about the tumultuous relationship between Yvonne and Brian, detailing the arguments and bruises Yvonne had endured. She never talked about it. She always wanted to keep everything private, a friend remarked. However, no one could find any trace of Yvonne. The family hired private investigators and organized search efforts in the surrounding area. They scoured every inch of the island, from the beaches to the dense jungles. We were ready to face anything. We wanted to find Yvonne, Michelle stated. Finally, a surprising turn of events occurred. A local resident alerted the family that they had seen a suspicious duffel bag in the woods, near where Yvonne and Brian had lived. They immediately rushed to check and discovered several of Yvonne's personal belongings inside. That was a moment I will never forget, Michelle recounted. As the investigation continued, they were forced to confront the painful reality that Yvonne might not be alive. Each emerging clue only fueled their determination in the relentless fight for the truth. They could not afford to lose hope, not when a family member remained missing. Ultimately, a shocking piece of information surfaced. Investigators discovered Yvonne's remains near where she had lived. That was a huge shock. I couldn't believe this had happened. Michelle collapsed. Yvonne's remains were found, and everything became more serious than ever. Brian Brimminger became the prime suspect. The court began its proceedings, and undeniable evidence was presented. Local witnesses provided testimonies about Brian's violent behavior. Brian is an abuser, one witness testified. Every word felt like a dagger piercing the heart of Yvonne's family. The evidence collected by the FBI came to light. Investigators demonstrated that Brian had used Yvonne's email to send false messages to her family. These revelations made it clear that Brian was not being truthful about how Yvonne had gone missing. After a tense trial, Brian was ultimately sentenced to 26 years in prison. We felt a sense of justice, but it could never replace what was lost, Michelle remarked. The family had spent so long seeking the truth, and they had finally succeeded. The story of Yvonne Baldelli is not just a tale of disappearance. It is a journey about love, determination, and the strength of family. Her family demonstrated that despite facing insurmountable challenges, their voices could still bring light to the truth. Always remember that in this world, There are stories that need to be told. Yvonne's story will forever live on in the hearts of those who love her. And so, many will continue to fight for justice, ensuring that the pains of the past are never forgotten. The story of Yvonne Baldelli serves as a testament to the power of love and determination. Her family has proven that seeking justice is a relentless battle. They did not give up, not just for Yvonne, but for others who may find themselves in similar situations.